My friends, let me begin with a simple but powerful truth the world bows before the man who refuses to be disturbed by it. Every day, life will throw distractions, criticisms, and disappointments your way. But remember this: your reaction is far more powerful than the event itself. The man who acts as if nothing bothers him has already won half the battle, for he has mastered his own mind. Consider this: the greatest leaders, inventors, and dreamers in history were constantly criticized, doubted, and even mocked. Yet they walked forward with calm confidence, as if the noise around them had no power. Why? Because they knew that emotions uncontrolled will sabotage destiny, but emotions mastered will fuel achievement. If you want to rise above the ordinary, you must learn to carry yourself with the calm assurance that nothing external can shake you from your purpose. My friends, let me tell you something that many never truly realize. The greatest war you will ever fight is not with the world, not with critics, not with your competitors, but with yourself. The first battle of success is always fought within the mind. If you cannot master your own thoughts, your own emotions, and your own reactions, then the world outside will master you. And when the world controls your mind, your destiny is no longer in your hands. That is why every man and woman who ever achieved greatness first learned the art of inner mastery. They built an empire inside before they ever built an empire outside. Think of it like this: life will always test you. Someone will offend you, circumstances will frustrate you, challenges will try to break you. And in those very moments, you have two choices: to react in weakness or to respond in strength. The difference between the two can determine the entire direction of your life. When you react in weakness, you surrender your peace, you lose focus, and you become distracted from your purpose. But when you respond with strength, calm, collected, unshaken, you rise above the moment and maintain control over your path. This is the secret that separates those who drift through life from those who dominate life. Here's the hook. Pay close attention. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control the state of your own mind. You cannot control the storms that come your way, but you can control whether you let the storm enter your spirit. And once you truly understand this, nothing outside of you can defeat you. Imagine standing in the middle of chaos and smiling as if nothing can touch you. That is not arrogance, it is mastery. It is the unshakable confidence of someone who knows they are the captain of their fate. History is full of men who stood unbothered while the world tried to break them. Think of the inventors, the leaders, the visionaries who were laughed at, criticized, and doubted. Yet they acted as if those voices meant nothing. They mastered their inner world so completely that no external rejection could derail them. And what happened? The very same world that mocked them eventually celebrated them. This is a timeless lesson. When you learn to govern your mind, the world has no choice but to respect you. But let me warn you, it is not easy. Your emotions will beg to control you. Anger will demand your reaction. Fear will whisper lies. Doubt will cloud your judgment. These are the enemies inside your own house. And if you do not conquer them, they will conquer you. But if you do conquer them, if you learn to pause, to breathe, to act instead of react, you will find that you have unlocked a power greater than talent, greater than money, greater than luck. You will have the power of self-mastery. Consider the man who loses his temper at the smallest offense. He may be intelligent, he may be skilled, but people will hesitate to trust him. Now consider the man who remains calm under insult, who smiles when others expect him to break, who acts as if nothing can disturb his peace. That man radiates strength. That man attracts loyalty. That man inspires confidence. You can become that man, that woman, if you decide today to discipline your mind. Every time you feel provoked, every time you feel shaken, remind yourself this is a test and I am the master. The more you practice, the stronger you become. And soon, what once shook you will no longer even touch you. That is the beauty of mastery. Your mind becomes your fortress, and no outside force can breach its walls. So I ask you now, will you let the world control your mind? Or will you rise and take command of yourself? The choice is always yours. Those who master themselves cannot be defeated, because the greatest victory has already been won inside. My friends, there is a power so silent, so subtle, and yet so commanding that it can shape the way the world sees you without you ever speaking a single word. That power is composure. It is the calmness in your eyes when chaos surrounds you, the steadiness in your voice when others are shouting, the quiet confidence you carry even when life tries to shake you. Composure is not weakness, it is the silent language of power. It says to everyone watching, I am unshaken, I am in control, I am not moved by storms, and that posture alone draws respect from those around you. Think carefully when you see a man lose his temper, when you see him break down under pressure. What do you think? You think of him as weak, unstable, not to be trusted with great responsibility. But when you see a man who remains calm, who keeps his dignity while others lose theirs, who acts as if no insult, no failure, no setback can touch his spirit, you are drawn to him. You trust him. You follow him. That is the power of composure. It makes people believe in your strength without you needing to shout it. Here's the hook, and I want you to feel this deeply. The strongest man in the room is not the one who shouts the loudest, but the one who doesn't need to. The one who stays silent while others rage. The one who acts unbothered while others panic. That man has power over himself, and therefore power over circumstances. Composure is the proof of mastery, and people instinctively recognize it. Think of history's great leaders. They were not great because they never faced trouble. They were great because they stood calm in the face of it. When armies advanced, when enemies plotted, when critics mocked, they stood steady, as if nothing could disturb their vision. Their calmness inspired courage in their followers. Their composure silenced fear in their people. Their unshakable presence was the invisible force that moved nations. And the same principle applies to you. Whether in business, in relationships, or in personal struggle, your ability to stay composed will determine whether others see you as a leader or as someone to pity. But let us not pretend it is easy. Composure is tested in the fires of life. It is tested when people insult you, when plans collapse, when fear creeps in. And in those moments, your natural impulse may be to react, to fight, to shout, to break. Yet composure whispers a different command: stay calm, stand tall, act unbothered. Because the moment you lose your calm, you hand your power away. You let others control your mood, your energy, and your focus. But when you keep your composure, you prove that your power is not borrowed from circumstances, it comes from within. Imagine this: two men are placed under the same pressure. One grows agitated, impatient, and reckless. The other remains calm, measured, and steady. Which of the two will be trusted with greater responsibility? Which will be seen as the true leader? Always the one with composure. Because people are naturally drawn to stability. They want to anchor themselves to someone who will not break when the storm comes. And you can become that anchor if you master the silent language of composure. Every time you face stress, every time critics rise against you, remind yourself: composure is my strength, calmness is my weapon, steadiness is my message. Do not let your enemies see you shaken. Do not let your challenges see you broken. Stand tall, smile if you must, and walk forward as if nothing can move you. That is the mark of greatness. That is the unspoken confidence that opens doors others cannot even knock on. The world does not give crowns to the loudest voice, but to the calmest presence. Those who learn to speak the language of composure will find themselves respected, followed, and admired, not because they demanded it, but because they lived it. My friends, let me share with you a truth that can change the course of your life forever. Every time you lose control of your emotions, every time you allow anger, worry, or doubt to dictate your actions, you are handing your power away. It is as if you are giving the keys to your destiny into the hands of another person. And when you do that, you no longer steer the direction of your life. You become a passenger instead of the driver. The man who refuses to hand over his power is the man who stands tall, composed, and unbothered, no matter what comes against him. Think about it. When someone insults you and you lash out in anger, who truly has control in that moment? It is not you. The person who provoked you is controlling you like a puppet, pulling your strings and watching you dance. But when you smile instead, when you act as if the insult has no effect, you have taken back your power. You send the message loud and clear: I will not be moved. I am the master of my response. That strength, my friends, is the mark of a person destined for greatness. Here's the hook you must never forget: no one can take your peace without your permission. They can throw words, they can criticize, they can doubt you, but it is you who decides whether those things will enter your mind. The greatest victory is not in defeating your enemy, but in refusing to let your enemy control you. This is why the strongest people in history did not waste energy fighting every critic. Instead, they stayed focused, acted unbothered, and marched forward with purpose. Their calmness enraged their enemies because nothing could shake them. That, my friends, is true strength. Consider for a moment how much time and energy is wasted on reacting to things that don't matter. One harsh comment can ruin an entire day if you allow it. One small setback can poison your spirit if you dwell on it. But the wise man learns to say, "This does not deserve my power." He saves his strength for building, for creating, for pursuing his vision. And because he does not hand his energy away to meaningless battles, he accomplishes more in a month than most do in a year. Power is preserved when it is not wasted. Think of the great leaders, the inventors, the pioneers. They were mocked, rejected, and misunderstood. If they had reacted to every insult, they would have destroyed themselves before their ideas could ever change the world. But they remained focused. They refused to hand over their peace to doubters and distractors. They kept their eyes on the vision ahead, and because of that, they shaped history. That same spirit lies within you, waiting for you to protect your power. Every day, life will test you. Someone will cut you off in traffic. A colleague may try to belittle you. A family member may not believe in your dream. The temptation will be strong to react, to fight, to prove yourself. But ask yourself this: what do I gain by reacting? Do I become stronger, or do I become weaker? Do I hold my power, or do I surrender it? The answer is clear. The more you learn to let things pass, the more powerful you become. The less you allow small things to shake you, the more unstoppable you will be. Let me put it plainly. Your reaction is your responsibility. No one can force you to be angry. No one can force you to be afraid. No one can force you to doubt. These are choices, silent, subtle choices that decide your destiny. And the person who masters this truth becomes untouchable. He may face storms, but he does not break. He may hear criticism, but he does not shrink. He may stumble, but he does not fall apart. He acts as if nothing bothers him because he has already decided to hold his power firmly in his own hands. So the next time life tempts you to hand over your peace, pause, breathe, remember who you are. Remember that your power is too valuable to give away. Stand steady, smile if you must, and keep moving forward. That is how you rise above. That is how you remain the master of your fate. That is how you hold on to the one thing no one else should ever control: yourself. My friends, let me share with you a secret that too many overlook. Opportunity does not simply flow to those who work the hardest or shout the loudest. Opportunity seeks out those who radiate calmness, steadiness, and quiet confidence. People are drawn to composure the way they are drawn to light in the darkness. When you seem unshakable, when you act as though no storm can throw you off course, doors begin to open for you that remain locked to others. Success flows toward composure because composure creates trust, and trust is the foundation on which opportunity is built. Think about it carefully. Imagine two men standing in the same place of pressure. One becomes flustered, impatient, and reactive. The other remains calm, steady, and measured. To whom will people bring their ideas, their investments, their faith? Always the one who demonstrates composure. The one who seems untouchable by stress appears to hold the keys to stability. This is the hook you must never forget. People want to follow those who can hold their peace when others are losing theirs. Opportunity does not run toward chaos. It runs toward calmness. Look through the lens of history, and you will see it repeated again and again. The great leaders were not chosen because they were the most talented or the most intelligent. They were chosen because they inspired confidence. Their calmness became a beacon that others could anchor themselves to. When their people trembled in fear, their leaders stood with steady hearts, and that steady presence attracted not only loyalty but also new doors of possibility. The same principle holds true in business, in relationships, and in your personal growth. When you radiate calm, you become magnetic. Imagine you are building a team. Would you place your trust in the person who panics under stress, or the one who carries himself with poise and certainty? Imagine you are seeking a partner in business. Would you join hands with the man who reacts wildly to setbacks, or with the one who acts as though challenges are stepping stones, not roadblocks? The answer is clear. Opportunity will always chase the man or woman who keeps composure. Because composure speaks the language of leadership, and leadership attracts every form of success. But there is more. When you act unbothered, when you move through challenges with grace, you create not only trust but curiosity. People begin to wonder, what makes this person so steady? What strength do they have that I do not? That curiosity draws them closer, and with it comes new relationships, new doors, and new resources. You become like a magnet, pulling toward yourself the very opportunities that others spend their lives chasing. And it all begins with the choice to remain composed in the face of difficulty. Here's another hook. Success is not built only on your skill, but on how others perceive your ability to handle pressure. The man who seems easily shaken is overlooked, while the one who appears unmovable is elevated. It is not always fair, but it is reality. The perception of strength attracts strength. The perception of stability attracts wealth. The perception of leadership attracts followers. This is why your composure must be guarded as carefully as treasure. It is not simply about keeping calm for your own sake, but because the world rewards those who master this art. Think of every interview, every negotiation, every opportunity that has slipped through the hands of someone who lacked composure. Their words may have been intelligent, their skills excellent, but their attitude betrayed them. Now think of the person who may have had less experience but radiated calm confidence and therefore was chosen. The difference is not in talent, but in composure, and this is something every one of us can learn and practice daily. Everyday life is testing you. How do you respond to delay? How do you respond to criticism? How do you respond when plans fall apart? Each response becomes a signal to the world, saying either I can be trusted with greater things or I am not ready yet. The calm man signals readiness. He acts as if nothing can shake him, and so the world entrusts him with more. The restless man signals instability, and so doors close. So the choice is yours. You can let every storm take you off balance, or you can stand steady, knowing that your composure is not just for you. It is the magnet that pulls opportunity closer. The moment you decide to be calm when others are frantic, confident when others are doubtful, steady when others are falling apart, you will find that opportunity no longer hides from you. It will come knocking, eager to serve the one who has proven he can be trusted with it. My friends, let us face a fact we cannot deny. Life will not hand you smooth roads and endless sunshine. You will stumble. You will face rejection. You will be tested in ways that feel unbearable. But here is the difference between the average man and the extraordinary one. The average man sees setbacks as final defeat, while the extraordinary man transforms those very setbacks into stepping stones. He acts as if nothing bothers him, not because life is easy, but because he has trained his mind to see difficulty as preparation. This ability, this mindset, is what turns ordinary struggles into extraordinary triumphs. Think of the times in your own life when things did not go according to plan. Maybe you lost an opportunity. Maybe someone betrayed your trust. Maybe you faced failure after giving everything you had. In that moment, the temptation is to sink, to complain, to give up. But here's the hook you must burn into your heart. Setbacks are not roadblocks, they are building blocks. They are not meant to destroy you but to shape you. And the person who acts unbothered in the face of loss is the one who signals to the world, I am being refined, not defeated. Consider the lives of the great achievers. Almost every success story you know is written in the ink of failure and disappointment. Thomas Edison was told he had failed thousands of times, yet he calmly replied that he had simply found thousands of ways that did not work. That composure turned his setbacks into lessons, and those lessons gave us the gift of light. Henry Ford faced bankruptcy, ridicule, and countless obstacles before creating the automobile empire. Did he allow setbacks to break him? No, he walked forward as if nothing could stop him, and that posture turned stumbling blocks into the very stones that paved his road to greatness. Now imagine if these men had reacted differently. Imagine if they had grown bitter, angry, and discouraged. Imagine if they had handed their power to failure. The world would be darker, slower, and less advanced. This is why your attitude in the face of setbacks matters more than the setback itself. Because the setback is temporary, but your response shapes your future. Let me give you another hook that you must hold on to. Pain is not punishment, it is preparation. Every delay, every disappointment, every closed door is equipping you for the doors that will open later. But only if you choose to act as though it has not broken your spirit. If you allow yourself to be destroyed by difficulty, you lose the treasure hidden inside it. But if you stand tall, if you carry yourself with calm confidence, if you act as if nothing bothers you, you unlock the secret hidden within the setback. Think of a diamond. Before it shines, it must endure pressure. Think of gold. Before it gleams, it must pass through fire. You, too, must face the refining process. And when you act unbothered, when you embrace the test instead of fighting it, you emerge stronger, wiser, sharper, ready for bigger victories. That is why setbacks are not signs of weakness. They are signs that life is shaping you for something greater. But let me be clear, my friends. Most people will not see this truth. Most will complain at the first sign of trouble. Most will throw away their vision the moment obstacles arise, and that is why most never rise to greatness. It is the few who choose composure, the few who act as if the setback cannot touch them, the few who walk forward with steady confidence. Those are the ones who turn setbacks into stepping stones. So when life pushes you back, do not resist with fear. Step into it with faith. When things don't go as planned, do not collapse. Stand tall and declare, "This too is shaping me." The man who sees failure as final is defeated, but the man who sees failure as fuel becomes unstoppable. Every setback is asking you a question: will you hand me your power, or will you turn me into progress? The answer will decide your destiny. My friends, let me speak to you about something most people overlook in their pursuit of greatness. Many will chase money, others will run after fame, and still others will measure their worth by the opinions of the crowd. But all of these things can vanish in a moment. Wealth can be lost, status can fade, applause can turn into criticism overnight. Yet there is one treasure no one can take from you, one treasure greater than gold and more valuable than any possession, and that treasure is peace of mind. The man who learns to act as if nothing bothers him has already tapped into this wealth, for he has built a life where calmness and confidence flow freely regardless of circumstance. Think about it carefully. What good is a mansion if the one who owns it cannot sleep at night because of worry? What good is a fortune if the man who holds it trembles at the thought of losing it? What good is recognition if the person who receives it is still enslaved by fear of failure or criticism? These are illusions of wealth, shadows of success without substance. The richest man is not the one with the largest bank account, but the one whose mind is steady, whose spirit is untroubled, whose heart is at peace no matter the storms around him. Here's the hook you must never forget: true wealth is measured not by what you hold in your hands, but by what no one can take from your heart. Peace of mind cannot be stolen, cannot be taxed, cannot be destroyed by external forces. It belongs to the one who guards it, who refuses to hand it over to fear, to anger, or to doubt. And when you carry this kind of peace, you become untouchable in a world that thrives on chaos. History has shown us that those who achieve lasting greatness were not only men of vision, but men of peace. They carried themselves with a calm assurance that inspired others to believe. Even in the darkest of times, when armies clashed, when nations trembled, when voices rose against them, they stood unshaken. Their peace of mind was their fortress, and that fortress allowed them to lead with clarity when others were blinded by fear. Their calmness was not weakness. It was the ultimate form of strength. Now let us bring this truth closer to home. Every day you are surrounded by noise. The noise of opinions, the noise of challenges, the noise of uncertainty. If you allow that noise to disturb your inner world, you will always lie restless, anxious, and reactive. But when you choose to act unbothered, when you decide that no external voice can dictate your inner state, you step into the highest form of wealth. You become rich in stability, rich in clarity, rich in resilience, and these riches will outlast any material possession you could ever acquire. But let me warn you, this kind of peace does not come by accident. It must be cultivated. It is born through discipline, through self-mastery, through the daily choice to hold your composure when others lose theirs. It comes when you stop giving away your emotions cheaply and start guarding them as the treasures they truly are. Each time you face a test and choose calmness over chaos, you are depositing into the bank of peace. Each time you refuse to be shaken by criticism or failure, you are increasing your wealth of stability. Over time, that account grows so full that nothing in the world can bankrupt you. Here's another hook you must remember: the man who cannot be disturbed cannot be defeated. You may strip him of money. You may deny him opportunities, you may even speak against him, but if his peace remains, he will rise again. Why? because the source of his strength was never outside, it was always within. That inner wealth will keep creating opportunities long after others have exhausted theirs. So I ask you today, what are you truly chasing? Is it fleeting riches, temporary applause, or is it the one treasure that endures through all seasons? Peace of mind. Guard it as you would guard a crown. Build it as you would build a fortress. Protect it as though your life depends on it, because it does. For when you carry peace, you carry the greatest power of all, the power to walk through life unshaken, unstoppable, and truly